Hi, my name is Sarah Atchison. I am with Rasmussen University, and this is Managerial Economics Deliverable number 6. To begin, we will go over an overview of this presentation. We will discuss production costs. We will look at total cost curves, average and marginal cost curves, discuss profit maximization. We will look at a profit maximization graph, and at the end we will review a summary and include a recommendation of what oil company X should do moving forward. In this presentation, we will be determining the future production levels of oil company X so that we can identify our profit maximization point. Profit maximization is essentially the process that a company uses to find their best level of production, which will give them their highest amount of profit. A profit maximization point can be determined by finding the point at which their marginal cost and marginal revenue are equivalent, or when those curves intersect on a graph. This will help determine whether they should shut down, contract oil production, expand, or stay at their current production level. This spreadsheet displays our production costs at oil company X when producing between 0 and 10 units. The abbreviations at the top reference price, quantities, marginal revenue, total cost, average fixed cost, average variable cost, average total cost, marginal cost, total revenue, total fixed cost, total variable cost, and profits and losses. We will be using marginal revenue and marginal cost to determine the profit maximization price and quantity. You will notice on this chart that the row with 5 units is highlighted, as this will be our profit maximization point, where production is best and our marginal cost and marginal revenue are equal. We will also look at the total revenue and total cost to determine our profits and losses. This table demonstrates the calculations for the production costs that we've used. The type of production cost being calculated is located on the left, and the actual calculation for that production cost type is on the right. Here you see a scatter graph of the total cost curves for oil company X. These include our total variable cost, total fixed costs, and total costs. You will notice our total cost is the blue line, total fixed cost is the orange line, and the total variable cost will be the gray line. You see that orange line there representing our total fixed cost does not change. That is because we are always paying 45 cents to produce, which is a very low fixed cost. That fixed cost will not change, so you'll see that line remain constant. To find our total cost, which is again the blue line, we add our total variable cost, which is that gray line, to our total fixed costs. This is why you notice the gray and blue lines are so similar and increase together, with their total costs always sitting 45 cents higher than the total variable cost. This scatter graph represents our average costs and our marginal costs. You will notice on this graph that the blue line represents our average fixed cost, so it is very low and slowly declining, almost to 0 by the time it reaches 10 units of production. To find our average total cost, which is the gray line, we need to add our average variable cost to our average fixed cost. You'll see the average fixed costs are represented by the blue line, and the average variable costs are represented by the orange line. You will then see that as our average costs increase, our average total costs and our marginal costs increase as well. This is our profit maximization graph. The blue line is representing our marginal revenue, which is declining as we continue to produce, while the orange line is representing our marginal cost, and that is increasing as we continue to produce. As we mentioned earlier, to find our profit maximization point, we will need to find the point in which our marginal revenue and marginal costs intersect or are equal. At that point, this is when the company is bringing in the most revenue at a healthy production level. For oil company X, the profit maximizing quantity will be 5 units, and the profit maximizing price will be at $1.73. This is shown with the pink lines that have been added to the graph to demonstrate that point of intersection. Throughout this presentation, we've discussed production costs and calculations. We've looked at the total cost curves with the total variable costs having a major impact on our total cost. We saw that the average variable costs and marginal costs are driving up the average total cost. When we reviewed the average and marginal cost curves. Then we discussed our profit maximization and discovered that our profit maximization price is $1.73, while our profit maximization quantity is 5 units. We can see that our marginal revenue decreases the more we produce, while our marginal cost increases the more we produce. Therefore, as we continue to produce at higher quantities, we will incur more costs and lose revenue, which would cause us to shut down eventually or have to cut back to our profit maximization point in order to be successful. While some losses may be affordable, we definitely need to minimize them. We are currently operating at a small loss, so we need to change our production schedule. Therefore, under the current circumstances, I would not recommend moving forward with the pipeline. My recommendation would be to produce at our profit maximization point to prevent any further losses. Thank you.